Any success that anyone has ever had is also available to you. We have to have the mindset of success in order to achieve the success and know that we can hit all our targets. The primary way to get there is the mindset. Mindset often has to do with the stories we tell ourselves. More times than not, it's the stories we tell ourselves about ourselves. Let's make sure we're telling ourselves the best story. As long as we tell ourselves the stories, we can do anything else that anyone else has ever accomplished. We can grow, we can get there, we can do anything in the world. Look at it on paper. I got no business being a managing partner of 2 years running the nation's best insurance claim law firm in the country. If you look at it on paper. Thankfully, we don't live on paper. I'm sure many of you have hardships, have crosses to bear, have overcome. Whether you're telling yourself this story yet or not, I'm here to tell you, you can do anything in the world anyone else ever achieved. We accomplish what we tell ourselves we can. We must be intentional about setting up rules that make it easy for us to feel success. We need to speak those words out loud. My friend, Director of Communications for Daly Black back here, Sean Mata, he and I tease each other now. He's one of those crazy, runs those long races like that. So we're having a challenging day, I'm having a challenging day, he's having a challenging day, he sends me a note. It's amazing, it's a miracle. I don't get tired. We've got to speak it out loud, speak it into existence. A lot of my videos talk about say it out loud, speak it into existence. The words you say matter. It's a miracle. I don't get tired. You don't want to go to knock this next door. You don't want to send this next email. You don't want to finish that last scope. It's amazing. It's a miracle. You don't get tired. You finish it off. The words you speak matter. The most important story in the world is the story we tell ourselves about ourselves. We're telling ourselves the stories about ourselves. We are the author. We are the author of our life story. Tell yourself you're the best in the world at your thing. I don't care what your thing is. You've got to tell yourself you're the best in the world at your thing. Whatever your thing is. Maybe it's being a dad. Maybe it's being a husband. Maybe it's being a Little League coach. Maybe it's being a roofing contractor. Maybe it's being a salesman at your roofing company. I don't care what your thing is. You decide you're the author. Make your story a masterpiece. Make your life a masterpiece by telling yourself the story all day, every day. You're the best in the world at your thing. So let's talk about the claim game insurance claims. I typically call this presentation All Words Matter. Over the course of getting jury verdicts for 31 years, I've had the great fortune of working with a lot of trial psychologists, working with communication specialists. And so I've come to understand the subconscious psychological effects of specific words, of word choice and manner in which things are said. Words have power. All words matter. The first word that I would have you write down to remember when you're thinking about claims, verify. You're going to want to verify coverage before you spend your time, effort, and money on providing temporary repairs, emergency help to folks. I often volunteer my time to different causes. I like to be the one that chooses where I volunteer my time. In Hurricane Laura, I had lots of friends that are contractors, friends that own mitigation companies that didn't decide on their own when they were going to donate their time, didn't decide on their own when they were going to donate their resources. They went in and looked at a big binder of insurance policies and said, okay, they've got coverage for this roof that got blown off. Come to find out, in that big binder, the policy said, you are not covered for wind. For folks that didn't verify coverage, I'm talking about churches that had mortgages. I'm talking about big office buildings that had mortgages. The mortgage companies didn't do the work to make sure that the building owner went through the policy and got their wind coverage through Citizens or through the private network of some other excess carrier. Document, document, document. Everyone says, of course I document my file. What I need you to document, how long you spent in inspecting the property. Document how long you spent entering the data into your estimating application. Document how many times you had to call to get a reinspection at the property. Document how many times the person didn't show up and you had to reschedule. Document what time he was supposed to be there and what time they showed up. Document how long they spent inspecting the property. Document whether they chose to inspect all the areas that you tried to show them where there was damage. Document if they got up on the roof or if they chose to remain on the ground. Those are the types of additional steps to document that vice presidents of claims understand in the event that you have to send the claim to a public adjuster or to someone like me. Those types of things, when I'm sending a letter and it makes its way to the vice president of claims, those types of documented instances are going to help you in the long run. Words matter. The words you choose, the way you say them matters. Please stop talking about failures. Judges and juries forgive failures. We are a forgiving society. Judges and juries do not forgive choices. Vice presidents of claims understand when you put choices in a letter. Vice presidents of claims understand when your client, their insured, puts choices in a letter that this is a more serious matter that they've got to pay more attention to. Instead of writing a letter, your adjuster failed to get on the roof, write a letter that says your adjuster chose to stay on the ground. Instead of writing a letter that says your adjuster failed to look at all the damage, write a letter that says your adjuster chose to ignore the damaged areas we attempted to show them. Insured, as opposed to saying my client, as opposed to saying my customer. Train yourself for your communication to to address that person as your insured. Insurance companies owe a heightened duty to their insured, but a desk adjuster, a claim supervisor, doesn't think they owe it or howdy to your customer. They're always going to know they owe a duty to their insured. Start calling these folks your insured instead of my customer. Try to eliminate the word should. Anytime there's a should, make it a must. Before you know it, should, people should all over themselves. Make every should a must. I must make one more call. I must spend the extra time on this scope. I must knock one more door. You must properly indemnify your insured. When you really start breaking it down with an adjuster that says, we don't pay overhead and profit on roofs. We don't pay for starter shingles. We don't pay for ridge caps. Whatever it is they're trying to tell you, it's their policy. They don't pay. Is that true? How is that true? Why is that true? Is that always true? Show me in the policy where that's true. Just layer after layer of true. You'll help them understand that it's all made up garbage. And there's nowhere in the policy, there's nowhere in the industry standards that what they're telling you is authentically true. Try to eliminate the word not from your vocabulary. Communications specialist, a particular communication specialist, embarrassed the you-know-what out of me, telling me that jurors, people in general, particularly jurors, don't process the word not. That in society, more often, the word not just goes in and out, and even when we're typing, when we're talking, we slip over the word not. Joshua, my communications consultant, had me go back and look at a day's worth of my email that I'd sent. You're going to find where you're typing that you intended the word not, but you didn't put it, you just skipped right over it. And sure as the world, I go through and look at a day's worth of my email that the email made no sense because I didn't include the word not. A quick fix on how do you eliminate the word not is to start a sentence with instead and then say chose. Instead of examining all the damage, your adjuster chose to stay on the ground. Instead of getting on the roof, your adjuster chose to ignore the damage. Instead of properly warning patients, the pharmaceutical company chose to withhold the proper warning. That led to a $9 billion verdict because we didn't use the word not in closing argument. When I started avoiding using the word not, it really led to a big increase in the way that we could prove our cases. Ask how questions instead of what questions. How can we make your insured whole? How can we properly indemnify your insured? Questions that start with how, communication specialists will tell us, land better with the recipient to give you the positive response. If you can get a person on a roll to say yes 3 times in a row and then hit them with the 4th question, that is the real moneymaker. If you get them saying yes to easy questions 3 in a row, then you spring it on them. Hey, good to see you. Your name is Kobe. Yes. You found it all right? Yes. You're here for us to inspect the damage? Yes. Let's go get this roof paid for. Instinctively, it's more likely that the adjuster, the person, is going to say yes to that fourth time in a row. In a sentence, everything that comes before the word but gets eliminated when you say but, and the important part comes after. Yes, there's wear and tear on the roof, but it didn't start leaking until after the hailstorm. Yes, there's only light evidence of damage on this slope, but it was doing what roofs are supposed to do before this windstorm. If you've got to concede something with an adjuster, concede it on the front end of a sentence, put your butt in there, and then finish it off. Same thing with because. Communications experts tell us that because is a trigger word for folks that they will believe what comes after it. This slope needs to be replaced because it's got more hail hits within this test square than what industry standards allow. This slope needs to be replaced because it started leaking after the hailstorm. This slope needs to be replaced because it did what roofs are supposed to do before this storm. You've got to prepare, you've got to be conscious. Think about using the word because. If says a whole lot for 2 little letters. If we can get this claim paid, then your policyholder won't have to think about going to legal. If we can get this claim paid, it's one less file on your desk. If we don't reach agreement in this appraisal, the policyholder is going to have to still file a lawsuit. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to offer help. More times than not, I turn this into an offer for help.
All right, welcome back to The Brainstorm, everyone. I'm Alex Kobe, Director of Marketing for Daly Black. I'm sitting here with
Nick Abdallah, RLX Solutions.
All right, Nick, so we just finished the cause and effect workshop here, and I just wanted to get your idea in the sense of what you've learned here today and some of the top things that you took away from the event.
Yeah, of course. So this is the second time that I have actually been to one of events with Todd Stern. If I would have known what he's taught before, because I used to run claims as an IA, and now he's gone through, he reiterated it again on this workshop. Level Up last year, he went through and said for wind damage. On the shingles, he says from the corner to one spot is thermal, but the rest is wind. Whenever I run my appraisals or anything like that, I go through and I actually say, I'll talk to the appraisers or whoever and say, look, from this point, it's nothing. But as we get further into the shingle, that's considered as wind. And then, you start thinking of more into other aspects. Rusted nails. Because you got to think of the exposure from the water. Then you look for debris underneath that shingle. So in those terms, he has gone through, and I wish I would have known more back then for that, because there's a lot of things that were left off the table. And for this one, he brought up for, ice damming and ice jacking. I wish I would have known that from before, because there was a lot of things that we had no idea that what was going on. But it's little things like that, information that he's able to bring to the table to help you further in every aspect. It's just basically going to everything and being an open book. It's just, if somebody has is plethora of knowledge, run with it.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming down, and Daly Black has been more than happy to be a part of this event, and we hope to be doing a lot more of these very, very soon, and I hope to see you there.
Oh, of course, yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. All right, I'm here sitting with Todd Stern, the brainchild of the Cause and Effect Workshop. How you doing, Todd?
I'm good, my dude.
I had a very, very great event, and I just wanted to get some of your thoughts on how you think the event went, maybe some of the things that you learned from this, and let's talk a little bit more about the cause that we're here supporting with our ticket sale.
Yeah, for sure. This is about bringing guys together to share. That's why it's a workshop, not a conference.
Right.
You leave the egos for the other guys. This is by far the best one we've done. we had a little bit of unluck with the contractors out of Oklahoma. They got hit with the tornadoes. So, but outside of that, the amount of knowledge in this room was outstanding. Dude, I learned something new this workshop about gravel roofs in hurricane areas. I mean, that's an incredible thing to know, that if you have a gravel roof in a hurricane zone, they've been outlawed because the debris is going to be flying all over the place.
Dangerous.
And I actually, so I got the email from the guy, sent it to my partner. I was like, dude, is this the thing? He's like, where'd you find this? I was like, there's only been a couple instances, but look, as iron sharpens iron, that's what these are about, right? There is no silver bullet. Having Daly and Black here, what a blessing to have Phil just drop some knowledge, and the way he presents, couldn't be happier. We share, both companies, my company and Daly and Black, we share the same values, and but the fact that when I flew up to Chicago and we sat down and had dinner, you remember that, it was a good time. And I said, here's what I want to do to honor Dustin and his legacy, because I truly could care less if I ever make anything off these. It's not my heart. Look, we were all given this information. I think it's better for an industry to bring everybody together, but I do understand people's time is valuable too. And so there's a line there, like how do you, there's friction there, right? And so, something that Phil and I've talked a lot about, it's not if, it's how. And figuring out how we can unite the industry, bring value, but let the proceeds of it go to something that's going to benefit individuals, better humans, and to be able to donate anything given to this event towards his scholarship in honor of his legacy. That is what I'm doing. And one of the things that he always did, he lived by the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. I never seen him, I've known them since him and Marcus started their company. I never saw him ever, not once, have an opportunity to talk to somebody that had just started out and didn't give him the time of day. The character of that man was outstanding. And so to carry that legacy on for him through these workshops in honor of his name is an absolute pleasure. And there's nothing more that brings me more joy than to be able to do that. So thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been outstanding.
Yeah, well, thank you. And we're more than happy to be a part of something like this.
Yeah.
Not only the information sharing, the relationship building, and like you said, like-minded individuals with the same goals and purpose and morals and the way they live their lives coming together.
Yeah.
It's a powerful thing. And then you add on top of that doing something very good to honor a friend, to honor a colleague, to honor someone that has done so much for this industry. It's incredible, and
Thanks,
we're
man.
very happy to be a part of it.
Absolutely.
I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, I can't either, man. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for all that you guys did. But let's move forward and just continue to better the industry as a whole. A rising tide lifts all ships, right?
Yes, it does.
All right, buddy.